Regrets. Regrets. Do I have any regrets? I have lots of regrets, actually. And we've been away from home for maybe a little over 2 years, I think. Maybe two years, a few months. Are things the way I thought they would be? Pretty close, actually, pretty close. But as far as regrets go, yeah, I have quite a few regrets growing up. I remember when I was a little kid in a grocery store in Ohio, and I remember stealing for the first time. I regret that. I regret partaking in many of the things that my lost friends wanted me to do. I did those things. I regret those things. I regret not following the Lord sooner in my life. I regret pursuing my own passions for as long as I did. But as far as being here, living life overseas for so long, again, we have only been here for 2 years, but it seems like forever. Sometimes if you're not careful, you can feel like people forget about you. You can feel, even though there's people around, you can feel deserted in a desert place if you're not careful. Even though that's not the truth, we tend to believe sometimes many things that aren't true, but we believe what's our mind tells us. There are things I wish I would have done differently when we came here. Different strategies or methods, perhaps. But I've learned from many of them, and I believe God's used them in my life. You know, one of the stories we're going through right now in our little church is the story of Moses. And one of the first things we hear about him is that he killed a man, and he buried him in the sand. And it's interesting to know that God would use somebody like that. And basically he killed him out of anger. It was the anger that got a hold of him. And I know myself, that's one of the things that I struggle with. When people do things or act a certain way, it just drives you nuts. And but you can see that in the life of Moses as well. And actually, at the end of his life, that was something that got him kicked out of the promises that God had for him, was his anger. So yeah, I regret those things. I think even Moses would say, I regret things he regret things in his life as well. Now, this wasn't the video I had planned to make for this month. I was hoping to make some other stuff. I know many times we're positive and encouraging. We try to be on these videos. But I thought about writing one and making a video that talks about the things going on in our village. Some of the dark stuff that you don't hear about too much. There's some situations I won't mention now, but I'll try to make a video of that later. But this time I wanted to just talk about regrets. And I know sometimes people may look at what we do on the field here as servants of the Lord, I believe. And they wonder, do you have any regrets? Do you look back and wish you could have changed things? And I could say, yes, I do. But most of those things I wish I would have changed would have been just not acting the way I did, or not handling myself in that ungodly manner like I did, or partaking in those sins with friends or colleagues. Yeah, I regret many of those things. But as far as coming over here, getting to teach people the Bible, getting to watch people's face glow when they begin to understand the Bible for the first time, I don't regret that. I don't regret waking up at 4:30 in the morning and heading to the main city where we can pick up a refugee from Russia and take him to be reunited with his family in the north. The crazy things that God has allowed us to go through and to see because we were willing to step out of our comfort zone, and I don't regret that. Is it as comfortable as I hope? No. There's still things here that are a struggle, for sure. In this last week, there's so many things that have happened. We've lost our church building. The finances here are much greater than I had expected when we came, and so we had to let go of our church building. So for now, we're going to take our little group, and we're going to keep meeting in locations like hotels and conference rooms and wherever we can find, wherever they'll allow us. Sometimes when they find out what we're doing, they're not too excited about having us at their place. But we'll be doing this for now. And so, yeah, it's not the easiest thing, but God's with us for sure. And because of all these different changes and these recent stressful situations, last week I had 2 car accidents. Do I regret those? Yes, I regret the car accidents for sure. They weren't big car accidents by no means. One of them, I was trying to back out into the main street, and we drive this big blue van, and I'm looking over my shoulder with all this zooming traffic, and there was a guy parked on the street on the main road behind me, and I didn't see him, and so I just barely bumped him. So the guy comes out, and I offered to give him cash, and he wanted a lot more cash than we thought it was worth, so we just called the insurance company and let them take care of that. And a few days later, I think it's because of just, when you get stressed out and your mind gets to go crazy, you end up making more mistakes than you should make. So is it a matter of not trusting the Lord with all the issues, with the problems? I'd say you're probably right in many cases. But I was pulled into a parking lot, the parking spot, and the telephone pole was right near the side of me. And I was looking again over my shoulder trying to find a spot to back out in this crazy traffic. And I turned my wheel and I came up against the side of this light pole. The concrete light pole had smashed the door in pretty good. So, and then a week before that, we had a friend of ours borrow our other small car, and broke the mirror on it. So there's a lot of things that happen, and it's life, and you can't let these things affect your spirit. It's a little more stressful than usual because you don't know the language, and you're trying to figure out what to do next or be taken advantage of in this way or that. So, yeah, it's pretty wild. But no, I don't regret it. Has it all made gray hairs grow in my beard more and more? Yes. Has it been a burden on my soul? Has it affected me spiritually? I'd say yes, but the Lord is growing me, and He's helping me learn how to handle things better. I do regret ways I've handled things in the past, for sure. But the journey is the Lord's, and we're just here trying to do what we can. God has been good. We'll continue to serve Him. In the house that we have here, we've done our best to try to fix it up to where we can have good, clean water. but we drilled a well and pumped it into the house and everything, but still the area up there is so rough that it's still a little battle for me every day to climb in that shower with the sulfur-like smelling water. It's pretty rough, but I could say a lot of negative things. I could say a lot of bad things. I could complain a lot. We all could complain. I'm sure you have your own sets of complaints. But this video is not about complaints. But I look back on my life, on the things, and the only regrets I have is not listening to the Lord sooner and doing those things that displease the Lord. But as far as living here, as far as serving the Lord and trying to teach the Bible and give people hope and peace in a world of religion and darkness, I have no regrets. No regrets. Keep praying for us. God is good. God has taken care of all of our needs. And we have to always separate what is a need from a want. And God is always taking care of our needs. We've never been begging for bread. So we want to thank every one of you who've been partners with us, helped us to do the work here as we start to do more AI type work.
Have you ever wondered about big questions like, why am I here? What's the purpose of all of this? Je li u redu postavljati pitanja o svojim uvjerenjima? Да. И это благородное стремление. Это хорошо. На протяжении истории некоторые из величайших умов мира.
It's been fun trying to make these videos in different languages to try to reach the people. I'm telling you, it's having an impact. And people watch these videos, not on this channel per se, but on our other channels, the native channels that we have. They watch our AI videos about the gospel, and it's making a difference. And as we begin to print Bibles, we begin to mail discipleship lessons out to people, people are beginning to change their mind. And it's all because of people like you that's helped us and stayed with us and prayed for us. I'm telling you, prayer is a huge part. You know, when I'm in those traffic accidents and in those situations, just knowing that there's people praying for us is a huge blessing. So don't quit. Hang in there. God is good. He will come again. He's promised us. But for now, we just keep serving Him and live your life with no regrets. No regrets, that is, in serving Him. This life is not going to be perfect. You're not going to get everything that you want or desire, but God promises to give us everything that we need. And I'm comforted by that. And to know that God would use a crazy person like Moses comforts me. And why in the world would He want to use people like us? But He does. So God bless. And we'll see you next time. For His honor and glory, we do these things. Ciao.